Oh boy, did I waste a lot of money on needless pastel supplies when I started doing pastel drawing. Not only that, I spent days or even a couple of weeks researching online what I thought I needed. In this video, I'm going to give you the top 3 pastel supplies you've definitely got to have to start with pastels, and I'm going to give you a list that's going to save you a lot of money on the ones that you don't need. So let's jump right in. Okay, so number 1, what's the first thing you really need to be able to do a pastel drawing? You need to buy some pastel paper, and this is where I lost the largest amount of money because I tried out virtually every paper I could possibly find, and there was only really one, now 2 types of paper that really worked for me. Clairefontaine pastelmat, that's the one I've been using for years, and a new one has just come out, Canson Velvet, and it's called Velvet. Okay, now they're both very similar. So the other papers, some of them are okay for you for starting out, and I would advise something like Canson Touch. That's a really good paper, or one of the very fine sanded papers. Okay, but first tip, get the paper right, pastelmat or Canson Velvet. Now to draw, we also need pencils. So that's number 2 on the list. Now there's 2 brands that I would suggest. Just pick one of them if you want. You can either have Stabilo Carbothello or Pitt, P-I-T-T. They are the 2 brands I'd suggest. There are others that are much more expensive, others that are very cheap, but if you stick with these, you really can't go wrong. Now, the third thing you're really going to need, now we've got pencils, is a way of sharpening them. So you need some form of sharpener. Now you can go in a couple of ways. You can get a crank handle sharpener, and for that I would recommend the Swordfish Icon. If you don't want one that's so expensive, you could even look on Amazon or Temu or something, and I've got a video showing a cheap one of those that does the job perfectly well. If you've got plenty of time on your hands, you may even want to sharpen with a Stanley knife or blade. But that's really the 3 things that you need. Now, as a bit of a bonus, it depends on the way you're going to draw or transfer your reference photo to your paper. So you may well need transfer paper. It's not complicated. Again, I use a brand called Royal Langnickel. It comes in black and white, and I've got a video showing that as well, as you can imagine, and it's really a simple thing to do. So that's my top 3 or 4 even things that you really need to buy. So let's take a look at the things you can perhaps save a lot of money on that you don't need, at least immediately. Well, number 1 on the list for you don't need is a big studio. You really don't. You can use a kitchen table or just prop it up on your lap while you're watching TV. That's how most people start and even continue. You absolutely don't need a big expensive studio. I'm just working in an attic conversion studio, but I need it quite big so that I can put my cameras and things around. But to start off with, don't let that hold you back. You can start really small. Okay, next on the list, what don't you need to start off? This may surprise people. You don't need PanPastels. They are quite expensive. I know they're a bit addictive. People want to have PanPastels. They may see me using them as well and they want to try them. But don't let that again hold you back. You don't need them to start off. You don't actually need them at all, especially if you're going to continue drawing quite small. Where they become very handy and much more cost effective is when you're drawing large and you want to block in an underlayer or background on a large scale. As you can imagine, they'll really eat through your pencil. So things like PanPastels are then very useful, but not necessary at all to start off with, especially if you're on a budget. So the third one on the don't need to have immediately list, pastel sticks. This is where pastels can get quite complicated. People think, well, I need pencils, I need PanPastels, I need pastel sticks. You don't. All you need to start is just pastel pencils. I've got a few videos, especially on my Patreon channel, showing those. And you can do loads and loads of complete drawings with just pencils. But like pastel sticks, pastel sticks are really good for underlayers and backgrounds as well. So it's something that you will probably want to get at least some of in the future. A brand I really like is Jackson's Own brand or Rembrandt. That's my favorite one, and neither of those are expensive brands. As promised, I've kept this video short and sweet. Now let me know in the comments below what your must-have supplies are. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Are there other ones that you think I've missed out? I'd love to read your comments. Now, if you've got your pastel supplies, you're going to need to be able to use them. Check out this video. I think you're going to love it.